Hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening, everybody. What's up, everybody? Hello, good evening. Welcome to Talk About You. How y'all doing? I hope everybody is doing fantastic. Everybody's had a great day. I'm going to wait for a few of you to jump on tonight. I'm so excited about tonight's live chat because it is a topic that we have not fully discussed with any guests in detail. So I am so grateful for this opportunity to have our guest that is coming in tonight, which is Deiondra Sanders. I'm so glad that she has decided to jump on tonight and to share with us her experience about having fibroids while being pregnant. You guys, you are in for such a treat. First of all, let me find out where you guys are coming in from. Where are you guys coming in from? I'm here in Maryland. So where are you guys? Where are you coming in from? I see some people in here from Atlanta. I definitely see some Atlanta folks up in the building. What up? What up? Hello, everybody. Come on in. Everybody jump in. Jump in. Jump in. I think our guest is in the building. Hey, what's up, bro? From Houston. Good to see you. What's up, Maryland? Hello, California. What's up? What's up? Let me just bring our guest in. And while she's coming on, you guys are still letting us know where you're coming in from. You guys, this is the last day of
Get set up.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, all my stuff just fell over. I'm trying to get
Take
set
your
up
time.
now.
It's so fine. I'm gonna do a little announcement and then you jump in whenever you're ready.
Okay.
But this is the last day of the month, you guys. And so while you guys are jumping on, this is the last day of the month here at USA Fibroids Centers where we're celebrating Fibroid Awareness Month. And so we do have some free screenings that we're offering. So I definitely want you guys to make sure that you're calling the phone number that we have. I'm actually going to put it in the chat so that way you guys can have it. Y'all look, y'all gotta give her a minute, okay? So
Sorry.
you are so fine. 833 still 1100.
Like this.
Okay,
The lighting is
you're totally fine. You're totally fine. Let me pin this. 833-609-1100 is our phone number. It's our hotline number. So if you're jumping on right now and you're like, I have no idea what fibroids are, okay? I jumped on here because I follow Deiondra. I just wanted to know what she had going on. Let me tell you a little bit about what fibroids are while she gets set up. They are non-cancerous tumors that grow inside of women, all ages, all sizes, all ethnicities. Doesn't matter how rich, how poor, how good, how bad. These little things will grow and you won't even know what's happening. And some of the characteristics of a fibroid, or if you're trying to figure out do I have fibroids, you'll have longer than normal periods. You'll have lower back pain, frequency in urination, so many other things that'll be happening. You all, when I had my worst, when I was at my worst with my fibroids, I had 14 large fibroid tumors, and I was probably bleeding 14 days a month. It was crazy. I think I may have gotten up to 20-something days. But anyway, it was really disastrous, okay? It definitely wasn't anything that I wish upon anybody. And I just kind of ignored it, kind of just kept, going along with the flow. And eventually passed out in my garage and had to get emergency hysterectomy. So here I am as one of the brand ambassadors for USA Fibroids Centers. And each month we do this talk called Talk About You. And we talk about all things uterine fibroids here at the USA Fibroids Centers because we try to give women an opportunity to have a safe space to be able to share their experience. So, Deiondra, we are so grateful that you have opened up your life and your heart to us, and you are sharing your story. You ready?
Thank you. I'm trying.
Take your time, girl. I can keep talking.
Okay. I think I just wanted you guys to get better lighting. So
yeah, you look good.
You
look good.
Okay.
You look good. First, welcome to the platform. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. This is probably one of the most exciting things, and I'm very so. I'm excited.
I definitely get it. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Okay.
A little tired right now.
Okay.
From all that, but I'm feeling good.
Okay. we're going to get right into all of your all of the things as it relates to your pregnancy. But we are so grateful that you decided to join us. First of all, can I wish you a happy belated birthday? Happy
Oh,
birthday.
thank you. Thank you so much.
It is exciting. I know being on bed rest during your birthday probably wasn't as exciting,
No,
but
I actually wasn't on bed rest during my birthday. I was like good, but I had an appointment right after I got back from my birthday.
okay.
I was like,
Okay.
I got to have fun for my birthday. But after that,
Okay.
yeah. So I won't be on bed rest long. They just said until I get the cerclage.
Yes.
Yes. So hopefully it's not too much longer.
It won't be much longer. And so you decided to start this conversation about your experience with fibroids and pregnancy, which I am so thankful for, because there are so many women who are under the mindset and unfortunately just under the disbelief that they're not able to get pregnant with fibroids. And so they're always, I get messages like this every single day. You know, can I get pregnant? You know, what's going to happen if I have the fibroids while I'm pregnant? So you're literally walking us through this process, and we are so thankful for that, because this is something that is private. It is something that is sensitive.
Yeah.
So we applaud you. We
Thank
applaud you.
I honestly didn't realize how what's the word? How a lot of people deal with fibroids as well until I spoke out about it. I was like, I didn't realize how common it was.
Yeah, it's very common. And for those that are watching, if you follow Deiondra, 90% of African American women, unfortunately, will end up with a fibroid at some point in their life. Some people grow out of them, you know, through age. They'll age out of them, but for the most part, we end up dealing with them. And you know what? We talk about everything else. I hear people, I see people asking about, you know, about your baby's father on here, about your dad on here. And we talk about all that stuff, right? But we never talk about fibroids. We know about red bottoms, we know about parties, we know about
Yeah.
fly brunch spots, but unfortunately, we never have these kind of conversations, you know, as women. Or if we have them, they're like, so we kind of brush over, like, girl, can I get a can I get a Tylenol? Because my stomach hurt,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm glad that you decided to come on
Thank
um,
you.
and to talk with us. But tell us a little bit about when you first discovered you had fibroids. I'm gonna let you take the wheel from here.
Okay. It's crazy because I first discovered I had fibroids probably when I was like 20 something. It was late. I would have heavy periods. I started sex late, so I wasn't really like sexually active like that. So when I started being sexually active, like I would, start going to the gynecologist and stuff like that. And I would have heavy periods, and I was always like tired, headaches, stuff like that, but I never knew why. My family just thought I was super lazy. So when I went to the doctor, they was like, oh no, you have fibroids, and this is what's causing heavy periods. And that's when I found out that my blood count was low as well. So I had to start going to a blood doctor. So then they kind of monitored them. They actually put me on birth control to actually shrink the fibroids, but it actually did the opposite for me. So it made them grow even worse and even more faster. So at that time, I'm still young, like 22, didn't really realize, how serious fibroids were, because I've never heard about them before. It's just like, oh, this is why you bleed a lot. They're not cancerous tumors. They don't usually call, oh, shoot. Okay, sorry. Yeah, they're not cancerous tumors. They don't usually call, a problem in women. But when it really changed for me is one night I was bleeding a lot, and I just went to the bathroom, and I was bleeding out blood clots like the size of my fist, like literally, not even over exaggerating. And I called my mom, and she's like, well, go to the hospital. But I was so tired because I lost so much blood. I was like, no, I'm just going to go to sleep. I'll be good. When I wake up, it should stop, because I didn't know the seriousness of it. So she called my cousin that was there with me and was like, take her to the hospital now. So he took me to the hospital, which I'm so thankful for, because I don't know if I would have made it if I went to sleep. Because they were coming out like every 5-10 minutes. It was like a consistent, I guess it's called hemorrhaging.
Mm-hmm.
It was a thing coming. So I went to the hospital, and that's when I found out, like, okay, we need to take these fibroids out now, or, you know, she's gonna die. So before they had the surgery, I had to do 5 blood transfusions in order to be okay to have the surgery. So that was really my first real experience with fibroids. And it was like, okay, this is a real thing that I need to stay on top of. So they took them out then, but of course I would get to gynecologist and they would keep on them. They always grew back. They always grew back at like a fast rate. So that's why I had so many surgeries throughout the years to just get them taken out, because they would start causing problems for me. But yeah, that was my first time really like dealing with it. Like, okay, this is serious. Like, they told me it's not that big of a deal, but this could have killed me at that time.
Absolutely. So this is when you were 22, right?
I don't know the exact age, but I know
Early
my
20s.
first surgery was around 23, 24. So it had to be before that.
Oh, now you just turned 30, right?
No, 34.
Turned 34. Okay. So for the last at least 8 years, I'm just getting a timeline so that everybody can understand how long you've been suffering like this in silence. You know, you've been suffering this long, you know, and unbeknownst to people that follow you and admire you, they had no idea. You're smiling through the pain, you're smiling through the bleeding, you're smiling through the clotting. And it just is unfortunate because so many people don't realize that there are answers, like a place like USA Fibroids Centers, where you can come and you can have the fibroids removed. But I know you said you had them removed. Tell us about that surgery. So you had a myomectomy, right? Correct?
Yes, at that time. I've actually had 3 myomectomies, and then I had the one, it's still called a myomectomy, but this one they didn't cut through my scar. It was 3 times they cut through my scar, and then 1 time is where they just, now it's like a new thing where they can put the camera and burn some of it off, stuff like that.
Yeah, and tell me about that recovery process with myomectomy, because like, what was the recovery time like? Were you down 6 weeks, 3 weeks? Like, tell us about that.
Recovery for that is kind of bad. Like, they cut through your abs, so then is when I realized how much I use my abs for. I couldn't even go to the bathroom by myself, or like get toilet paper by myself. Like, it was really bad. I was in the hospital for like 3 to 5 days, depending on each one, depending on how I tested afterwards, and if I could like blow the little thing up. But so that would depend on, and after that, it was just more so just me sitting up, trying to let my body rest and just heal again. But I was down for a few weeks. I know my last myomectomy, I tried to go to my daddy game like a week after my surgery. And that was just the wrong thing to do. So now I know to like take stuff like that, you know, more serious. But before that, yeah, I would just have my mom come down and help me like a week at home. Then after that, you know, you move around slow. Got to be careful picking stuff up.
So you were down
Don't
a couple of weeks in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And periodically, Deiondra, if you don't mind, because you do have such a great following and you have people, you are a woman of influence. I mean, bottom line. So I want to be able to kind of teach through this, if you don't mind, a little bit, because I think it's important that your followers know what you've gone through, and that they understand all of the factors around fibroids. Because you had a myomectomy. When I was your age, I actually had an ablation, which is one of the other ways that fibroids are removed, where they actually burn the fibroid off. And then there are other ways to remove the fibroids. The final surgery that I ended up having was a hysterectomy, which is where you remove the uterus. And that's when you cannot have a baby. So people don't realize that there's so many different ways to remove the fibroid. But here at the Fibroid Center, we do a procedure called UFE. So if anybody is watching and you're wondering, like, do I have to go through what Deiondra went through? Do I have to go through what Kym went through? You know, size and location really make a difference with the fibroids. People don't realize, you know, well, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Well, everybody's fibroid is different. No 2 fibroids are alike, right? They grow differently. They grow in different areas. They hide behind your organs. And so a lot of times, you know, what happens with Deiondra, might not happen with you. So if you're watching me and watching her right now, and you're her friend and you're her follower, and you think you might have a fibroid, if you're wondering, do I have fibroids? Because I also have heavy periods. I've also been through the clotting, the bleeding through. I put on 2 or 3 tampons. I'm putting on all these pads. I'm, bleeding through, and at night while I'm sleeping. All of this sound familiar to you, then this is when you need to call the number at the bottom of the screen, right? And then understand what the UFE procedure is that we offer. Now, again, like I said, size and location make the difference, but you do have to go through a process to figure out which one is going to work for you.
Yes.
Our procedure is called UFE. It's Uterine Fibroid Embolization. So I'm going to put it in like layman's terms so y'all can kind of understand it, okay? Uterine Fibroid Embolization is when they actually go through the vein. They can either go through the growing area or through the vein in your arm, and they actually suffocate the vein that is connected to the fibroids, because fibroids, they grow from blood. There's a blood source. They suffocate the vein that connects to the fibroid, and ultimately you pass the fibroid. It is a procedure that is an in and out procedure. It's non-invasive. So you guys heard Deiondra say she got cut. You don't have to get cut with the UFE. You're only going through a minimally invasive procedure in one of our clinics where you would actually get this procedure done. You're in and out in 2 hours. Most of the time is them talking to you through the process, right? And then you're down about 7 days. You heard Deiondra say she was down weeks. She wasn't able to move. She wasn't able to really take care of herself. And she went through this 3 times, which is a lot. That's a lot on the body. It's a lot of trauma to the body. It's a lot that you have had to endure. So I definitely want to make sure that you are okay, and pray that all is well with you. And I've been praying for you since I read your story, since we were able to do this interview, because it just really just hit my heart. Like, I had no idea that was what you were dealing with. And I'm just thankful that you're using your platform to help so many women, because we have over 200 people on this live. And so people are watching, they're listening, and they're sending their sentiments. Now, listen, I'm gonna ask her another question, but I see a lot of guys on here, okay? Y'all, this Auntie Kym talking. This Auntie Kym, listen. You got a girlfriend, you got a sister, you got a mom, you got women in your family. Part of the reason why they probably been snipping and snapping at you is because they might have fibroids. Because fibroids make you not so nice. And am I telling the truth, Deiondra?
Right, you're right.
Tell us a little bit about your personality through these fibroids. Like, what did you find yourself? Because you never really, I didn't know who I was until after mine were gone. Like, I was like, who is this person? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I don't think I really had those kind of situations. I feel like in my younger days, I always say I kind of did life backwards. Like, when you graduate, you get the job, then you find yourself, when you're older after you have a career. I feel like, I graduated, then I just went straight to finding myself. So I feel like I was more in tune and intact with my emotions at that time. Now, pregnant Deiondra might be a little bit different.
Okay.
This is whole new hormones I didn't know about, okay? But during the fibroid time, I was actually learning myself mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I don't really think that really affected, my personality or getting to know myself.
But you know what? And I say this unapologetically. You cut from a different cloth, though. I mean, you come from warriors, right? You come from a really strong support system and a strong a base that's like a lot of people might not have, but it definitely is. It speaks volumes to who you are individually as a woman, that you were able to decipher, okay, I'm going through something, but I'm gonna get through this. You made a couple of quotes that you were gonna endure this. Like, and I loved when you talked about that. Talk to us a little bit about that enduring that you have done through this process of pregnancy.
I'm just like, explain to me what you want me to say, because it's so much. Like, explain to me kind of what you're asking again.
I want to know what gives you the push to continue on, knowing the risk that you're taking, the sacrifice that you're making. What gives you that push every day?
Honestly, the push every day, because I was like battling a lot in my head. Like, you know, when I first found out I was pregnant, because I was like, this is so, I mean, I won't say random because, you know, what grown people do, but this is like so unexpected. Like, this is out of the blue. I found out, you know, a month and a half after I was actually pregnant. So I was like, wow, this is so unexpected. But I just really had to sit and spend time with like me and God to make my decision on, you know, what I wanted to do. It's like I wasn't ready for a child, but I read stuff that God gives you a child when you need one. So I was like, you know what, maybe this is what I need right now. And I was even battling like different stuff where, you know, if I go a different route, will I be able to have kids again? You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff that I was told, like I should have been having kids at 22. And that was, you know, that was before, you know, 3 of my surgeries. So especially with the scar tissue and stuff. So I really had to just keep pushing and thinking and, you know, spending time with God to know like, okay, God allowed this. So obviously this is something that he wanted. And I have always wanted kids. I just, when you hear maybe not so much, you kind of just not really, you know, I started like, now in the past when I thought about kids, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a surrogate. Like that was already in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I never really pictured it this way, but when God allowed it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to do whatever I can to make sure that this goes, you know, the full term and I have a healthy baby. In the beginning, I will say it was hard because my whole first trimester I bled. So it's like people will be like, are you happy? And I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm happy, but in reality, I don't want to get too excited, you know,
Right.
I don't want anything to happen because at that time they called it a threatened miscarriage because I was and stuff like that. So it's like I was happy with myself, but I didn't want to get too excited. And if something were to happen, you know, just get disappointed. So I just had to really just keep praying through it and just like, okay, God allowed this. You allowed this for a reason. Let me just trust in you and just, you know, keep pushing.
And
keep
I have a
pushing.
confession I want to make. I'm getting ready to cry. I'm trying not to cry. So when I got pregnant, I bled the first 3 months of my pregnancy. And I didn't know I was pregnant. I wasn't showing. I was still bleeding. And when I read your story, oh God, I didn't even expect all this. When I read your story, I said, Lord, I don't know why I was bleeding like that, but maybe it was because it was the fibroids. Because I had fibroids then, I didn't realize that you could bleed through pregnancy. And now I can testify that my son is 26.
Oh, that's good. That makes me feel good.
He's 26. I carried him full term. I was like you. I was on bed rest. It's so similar, our stories. And I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know. I didn't have this kind of platform to talk to somebody. I didn't know my options. I just kind of believed, you know, whatever the doctors told me and what I read about you that I really admired. So I want you guys to know that you're never too old to find somebody younger than you that you can glean to. But I never really understood like what was happening, and I just kind of believed everything the doctor said. But I read in your bio, in your story, that you are a researcher. So you started doing a lot of research, and I want to know like what did you read, or what was your what encouraged you do this process to stay the course? Like, what, I know you said it was God, but did the doctors give you any kind of warning, like don't do this, or what? I mean, were you battling with that at all? Like, this is not a good idea, or were they telling you go full steam ahead?
Well, so luckily I have the doctor that's my doctor now. She actually delivered me. So she's
Wow.
a soft spot for me. She's knew about all my fibroids. She's actually the one that saved me to have my first surgery, my second, and then my other one that wasn't a myomectomy. So she has like a soft spot for me. So she would check the baby's heartbeat every week. If I felt anything, she would have me come in and like, well, let's just hear the heartbeat, make sure things was still going on through my bleeding. So that was very helpful to me. Like I did enjoy seeing that, because if I thought something was wrong, as long as I heard the heartbeat, I was like, okay, we're still in there. Like, you know, we still in there. Also, I would research just, I'm like a Googler.
Okay.
So I would research, like, you know, like pregnant women bleeding the whole trimester and just read. I'm the type that reads down the little forums to see other people's experiences and stuff. And, you know, of course, it does say some obvious, you know, negative stuff. But I saw a few stories that in there was just like, you know, they made it through. It wasn't, they just did it. The doctors didn't know why. Some was because of fibroids, but it wasn't that much. But the baby grew up to be, you know, older now. So just seeing that was like, okay, well, this isn't the end all be all. As long as I'm bleeding in the heartbeat, that doesn't mean it's the end all be all just because I'm continuously bleeding. So just me hearing a heartbeat every week, just reading other people's stories. And honestly, as soon as I put out my story, I had so many women hit me up, said they went through a similar thing, and they done had 3 kids since then. Their kids are older. One person even said they had twins. Like, just to see that people dealt with the same thing that I dealt with and still was able to, you know, raise kids, go full term and such forth, that kind of made me have more hope also.
I mean, there are literally, I'm watching the comments, Deiondra, that are going across the screen, and there are literally, I think I may have just counted 27 or 28 women who have testified that they too have bled through their first trimester and they have healthy babies. So this is definitely fuel for someone. I pray that somebody that's watching is encouraged and hopeful when they go back and look at this, because this is serious and it's definitely a journey that I wouldn't wish anybody to go through by themselves. Did the doctor tell you any of the risks? I know she's a big supporter of yours and she delivered you, but did she explain to you any of the risk of having a baby while having fibroids?
They said in the beginning, the only risk would be right now is, since my body is producing more blood for the baby, it could go like one or two ways. Either one way, the blood could be going to the fibroids and not my baby, which will cause my fibroids to grow. Or it could go two ways. The blood goes to my baby, which will cause the fibroids to shrink because it's losing, you know, blood. So that was more so their only concerns right now. But thankfully, they haven't grown, you know, they haven't shrunk either, but they haven't grown. So they really haven't been an issue right now in this pregnancy, other than they do cause the baby to be lower than usually. Like I do have more pressure, lower. I find myself like holding my stomach more early on just because the fibroids are, you know, pushing my stomach and my baby down lower. But other than that, they did tell me those were the complications, but they said if the fibroids do begin to grow, we'll monitor them and then we can go from there. But they haven't. So, yeah.
Let's do a little praise break.
Yes, yes,
Let's
yes.
do a little praise. So I want to repeat that. I want you to repeat that. So they have not grown.
No, they have been the same since I got pregnant, which is thank goodness. So I'm just so thankful about that. But yeah, other than that, they didn't really say any other complications because it still was early on in my pregnancy. I feel like now, you know, now that we about to be in the game for real, things might change a little bit with, you know, my baby getting bigger, a lot bigger now. I'm at 21 weeks now. So I just got like 2 more weeks to go till it's like, okay, we in the game for sure. So I feel like once then, you know, then it might be a different case. But right now, yeah, those were the only concerns they had.
Wow. So you currently have 7 fibroids.
As
Or do you have?
right now, I really don't know the number. I just know I just stopped counting when she was like, oh, because our first ultrasound thing, she was like, oh, that's a fibroid. Oh, this is a fibroid. This is a fibroid. I was like, well, dang. Like,
Yeah, I want everybody to know that you know the process that
I
you
don't
can
know.
see the baby, you can see the fibroids, correct?
Yes.
Through the ultrasound, which is great. So you're able to see how the baby is growing, because I would be looking past those fibroids. I'd be like, look, okay, the baby is growing, we good. y'all stop growing and let this baby get out the way.
I know,
So
I know. Now that's what I'm doing. So now I just really pay more attention. Like the only question I ask is like at the end, I'm like, have they grown? And they're like, no, they're still the same. So I'm like, okay, good. So other than that, I just focus on the baby doing my ultrasounds now.
that's awesome. That's also, a few people just asked, are they large fibroids or small fibroids? Y'all, the baby is bigger than the fibroids. That's all we were.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, the only ones they said, I probably had like two big ones, but it wasn't like super huge ones. It was just two bigger ones that was bigger than the other size of them. But these were kind of ones that were, smaller and intact.
Got you. So you went through these myomectomies, and I know that your doctor was a huge component of you, just a huge cheerleader of yours. What made her? Do you know what made her choose myomectomy over, say, UFE or over, another procedure, ablation, or any of the other ones?
Well, the first one, it had to be in emergency surgery. Remember, I was just bleeding out. So they just had to do that like quick. It was just something I had to do. Like literally that night I went to the hospital, they had to do a surgery. The second one, I'm not really sure. I don't remember if they gave me other options. I know the third one, the way the fibroid was located, it had to be taken out because it was very painful and it was big. So the way that one was located, because at first they said, well, we could do the other one. Then once they got in the ultrasound and got in there, it's like, okay, no, we're gonna have to do another myomectomy. But at that time I was like, look, I don't have a couple already, so it's it's okay. I just want this out because it was causing a lot of pain during certain times.
Got you.
Oh,
Got you.
you know what? My mom is on here, so she knows more.
She can
than
jump
I
on
know.
if she wants.
So
do you want to jump on?
So she told me it was huge. So that's why they had to. I'm like, my mom's been there since the very step of the way. So she would know more about what the doctors was saying than me after, me talking to them. So she said it was huge. That's why they had to do them.
Miss Carolyn, you can get on too now. Is that her name, Carolyn? I see Carolyn saying this real.
Yeah, Carolyn.
If she wants to get on, she's welcome to get on it.
My mom's story actually helped me too because she had fibroids.
I was going to ask you. Okay.
Yeah, she had fibroids with me, and she actually told me she was on bed rest the whole pregnancy. So they actually had her like hooked up to machines and stuff like that. She said she bled the whole time. So that actually kind of made me feel a little better too, knowing that I turned out so great, even though, even though she was bleeding the whole time and I'm healthy and stuff like that. So that definitely gave me a sense of hope,
That's awesome. And she says she's at work, so that's why she can't jump on. But so fibroids run in your family?
Yes.
Got you. Have any of your family members other than your mom shared their stories with fibroids?
I know my aunt told me about cysts, not really fibroids, but I know they're all in the same category. But she also told me that the stuff she had back in the day, because it's something I never knew about till I put out my story, and then she told me it made her cry, and I was like, well, why? She was like, because she said she lost a couple kids. She had miscarriages at very late in her pregnancy, because of that. And now she told me, she was like, if they was able to do a cerclage back then, I probably would have had kids by now. So, me just knowing that I would have never known that if I didn't put out my story, then that just made me feel good. Hey, can you clean that up?
And I'm hoping that I know you got a guess. I won't be much longer with you. But, okay. I'm hoping that somebody else this will help somebody else. Your mom said that every time she walked, she was spotting when she would walk. So she had a very difficult pregnancy as well. So I am so glad that you are here and you are alive and sharing your story, and your baby is coming, and you'll be able to tell that testimony as well. I had no idea. I swear I learned something new every day. I had no idea all of these people were bleeding with fibroids while they were pregnant. This is crazy to me.
I told you, I didn't know that till when I put that out and everyone started DMing me. I'm like, wow, this is stuff that people really need to talk about.
They absolutely need to talk about.
You don't hear about this stuff during pregnancy. All you hear about is, the nausea, the tiredness, the regular symptoms, but you don't hear about stuff like this at all.
And carrying a baby is enough by itself. You know, just the body, the changes that your body is going through, you know, your breast, you know, being tender, you know, you just going through the weight gain, going up and down steps, you know,
Yeah,
this is a lot,
I pick
you
up
know.
tired now.
You just tired. Now, did the doctors tell you anything that you needed to change to avoid getting the fibroids again, like your diet, or what how informative were they with you?
Oh, it's crazy. They, like, you know, doctors are always gonna say they don't really know what causes them.
Mm-hmm.
So I started, you know, I'm a researcher, started looking up holistic stuff and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of things I did read was certain meat, like chicken, the hormones that the chickens are pumped with causes hormones to grow in the fibroid. So I actually stopped eating meat for a few months. I tried that, but then I was like, okay, I'm kind of hungry. I done ran out of stuff to cook. But it's literally like stuff that dairy, which is hard because I love cheese. But it's honestly a lot. It's a lot of stuff that we eat over here in the United States that's pumped up with the GMOs and stuff that causes the fibroids to grow. But doctors really didn't tell me that. I just would research that and would talk to holistic people about that.
Mm. Yeah, I have a friend that's a holistic doctor who you know, kind of instructed me to kind of stay away from some things like sugar and
Yes.
and yeah, just a lot of things that she said would help, you know, that would prevent them from continuing to grow. And so, you know, we have really been striving, Deiondra, here at the fibroid, well, doing our fibroid fighter side, which is our nonprofit side. We've been really fighting to get research done. You know, we've been really like going to Congress and just really saying, hey, look, we need to do some research because there are a lot of women that are suffering, and we need to figure out, you know, the ties that bind. Like what is causing this? Why are women getting this? How can we prevent this? Like, what can we do, especially with such a large amount of our community suffering with it? You would think that there would be more information about, you know, fibroids, meaning how they started and things like that. And so I'm glad that you are, you know, you're definitely going a different route, trying different methods, you know, to stop them. I, like you, did the same thing. I was like, okay, I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that, you know, but I do want to just dispel the myth for those of you that are watching that we have some fibroid fighters or fibroid survivors, Deiondra, who were organic eating, no non-meat eating, non-dairy eating, still with fibroids. Literally, just their diet was stellar and impeccable, and they still got fibroids. They drank the green teas. They did all the things, and they still got fibroids.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. That's why it's like, I really hope that one day we are able to, you know, break the studies and figure out what's the cause of it, because it has to be something for so many people to be getting them. It has to be something. I know a lot of times they say it's hereditary also, but it's like, how do you even first get it or cause them to grow, you know?
Yeah, I think it's something that, you know, we definitely need to pass down to our children and nieces and cousins and all that, because people just don't always share their experiences with their personal life and with their reproductive health. You know, they just don't really talk about it. So I'm glad you're talking about it. So I want to ask you just a few more questions, and then I'm gonna let you go so you can rest. But I want to know what message you would give or share with Black women who might be experiencing fibroids.
I would say the message I would give is just to stay on top of them. They're not a game. They may not bother you now, but you still need to make sure you go to the doctor, stay aware of the growth. Because even when I had the emergency one, I didn't have any cramps. They always say if you cramp bad, I never really had cramps until after.
Hold up. Stop right there. You didn't have the main
No.
symptom?
No, I didn't have no cramps or nothing. Even on my periods and everything, they were just heavy. even when I had to go to the emergency surgery, I didn't really have cramps. And I probably had like the slight one that literally was just like not even bad. Like I never had cramps like that. Like I didn't start having cramps till probably after my second myomectomy, and that's because they told me a lot of scar tissue was there. But yeah, I didn't have no. That's why I'm like, no matter if they tell you that you have them, you need to make sure you stay on top of it, get them checked often to make sure they're not growing, because it's like out of nowhere they can just switch on you. So I would probably tell people to do that, and just don't get discouraged. Like when they're gonna tell you a lot of stuff, the doctors will, about fertility and age and your uterus and all this stuff. You just don't get discouraged. Just make sure you pray, you stay on top of it, and watch, keep a watch on them.
Wow, somebody just asked, can fibroids make you look pregnant? The answer is yes.
Yes.
You do. You will get you will have a lot of bloating with the fibroids. That's crazy, because when you feel pain, immediately you want to go to the doctor, right? It's almost like mine. It tells your body. It's like the I forgot what it's called. It's like some like scientific term, but it's basically when you feel pain, immediately your body reacts, if that makes sense, right? And I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, so with you not feeling any pain, your mother said she ain't feel no pain because she's still on here, and about 5 other people said they ain't feel no pain. That's still more of a reason for you to go. So you were having heavy periods, though.
I was having heavy periods, but I always had heavy periods, so I thought it was just normal, honestly. For like I had them probably since I started periods, honestly. So I didn't think nothing of it. But the older I got, and I started going to, the doctor for other reasons, that's when they started seeing it like, oh, okay, because they started checking differently, because it's like I didn't really need ultrasound and stuff. I wasn't sexually active or nothing. So I would just do, the typical pap smear checkup and stuff like that. But as I got older and doing the other type of checkups, then that's when they started noticing, like, okay, well, your heavy periods are coming, because now I'm starting to feel a fibroid when I do, your checkup. So that's how that started. But yeah, the heavy periods was probably the only thing I had.
Got you. So you guys, I just want to give you just a list of the symptoms. If you're wondering if you have fibroids, because many of you are asking, well, how do I know I have a fibroid? Well, first of all, let me just say this. You definitely need to get a sonogram. You need to get the MRI, which actually helps to determine the size and location. If you call the number on the screen at the bottom, which is 833-609-1100, you can schedule an appointment. We have over 40 centers across the country for the USA Fibroids Centers. Now, why are we doing this, you all? Well, who are we? Who is the USA Fibroids Center? We are a company that actually performs the UFE procedure. This is another alternative to getting rid of them, which is the uterine fibroid embolization. It is not a new procedure, so we're not trying to sell something to you that has not been tested and not been, we haven't been proven. We have a 99% success rate with UFE. UFE has been in existence for over 20 years. So women have been getting the UFEs and successful with the UFEs and not having fibroids return. Let me say that again. Women have been getting UFEs, had successful UFE surgeries, and the fibroids don't return. We have a 99.9% success rate with the uterine fibroid embolization procedure. So I just want you guys to know it is a non-surgical procedure that we do here at USA Fibroids Centers. And the reason why we do this platform, I want you all to hear me. The reason why we have these conversations is for 2 reasons. Number one is that we want women to know that you have options. So many women don't have a doctor like Deiondra, where they are supportive of you and care about you and love you and will make sure you're straight. Some women have doctors who don't care about them at all and will offer you a procedure that will be detrimental to you, but you have options. That's the first reason why we do this. The second reason why we do this is because we want to educate and have a community of women where women can come and have these conversations. This is something that I fought for at USA Fibroids Centers. I was like, look, I got to use my platform to share my story. I got followers. I got people, who follow me for beauty, but they don't realize that it's more to us than makeup and hair and wigs. Okay. there is some parts of us that we got to share so people can see that, hey, I'm beautiful on the inside and the outside. I need to stop covering it up and clear it up. That's what a lot of times we'll do. We'll cover up scars, we'll cover up pain, we'll cover up, you know, heartbreak, and we don't clear it up. So that's why we do this. So I am so grateful to you. I had to give that little disclaimer. I'm so grateful to you and your mom. Thank you so much to your mom. Please tell your mom, if she's still on here, I love her and appreciate her for sharing her story too. I wanted you to close out with a final thought. If there's anything else you'd like to add about your experience with your fibroids, please feel free to leave us with something real dope. You can leave us with some bars. You can leave us with, you know, whatever you want to do. But we want you to leave us with something to help to encourage the people that are watching.
I don't know if it would really be about fibroids, but I just always want people to like make sure they stay true to themselves and who they are, despite what battles they face in the world and in life and even through fibroids. So I'm really big on that. So I'll leave that motivation and always remember to stay true to who you are.
Stay true. Stay true. Look, that's a great way to end this conversation. I want everybody that's watching to take a page out of her book. Stay true to thy own self. Be true. You can't be true to nobody else. You gotta be true to yourself. Thank you so much, Deiondra. You are such a rock star, girl. You got the old girl on here crying, girl. Real ugly tears.
I didn't mean to do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so glad you guys do stuff like this to make people aware as well. So thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for jumping on with us tonight. Get you some rest. We'll check on you. I'll probably slip in your DM. So make sure you accept my friend request so that I can check on you and make sure you're good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Again, if you have questions, you can call the phone number at the bottom, 833-609-1100. It's my personal hotline number, and there are people there waiting to take your call, or you can slip in my DM or slip into USA Fibroids Centers DM. We'll answer all your questions and make sure you're good. All right, ladies, thank you. Gentlemen, thank you. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.